Hey, I'm playing All Is Found from Disney's Frozen 2, and I'm playing it as a request for a dear friend of the Morristown Uke Jam, dear friend of mine, in fact, right here in New Jersey. And I'm playing it straight from the charts of the Morristown Uke Jam also. So take the link in the video description, download the free ukulele song sheet, and you can play along with me. And if you'll be anywhere near Morristown, New Jersey, come out and play with us. After the song, I'll do a basic tutorial together with a slow motion, close-up play along you might find helpful. Final thing, if you like the video, please like the video with a thumbs up. You want lots more? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You want hundreds of free downloadable ukulele song sheets? Check out our Dropbox. And then look for a meetup and come play with us. Now here goes. Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a river full of memory. Sleep, my darling, safe and sound, for in this river all is found. In her waters, deep and true, lie the answers and a path for you. Dive down deep into her sound, but not too far or you'll be drowned. Yes, she will sing to those who hear, and in her song all magic flows. But can you brave what you most fear? Can you face what the river knows? Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a mother full of memory. Come, my darling, homeward bound. When all is lost, then all is found. Oh, what a sweet, pretty song. And by the way, yes, the intro and the outro are by far the hardest parts of that song, and you don't have to play them that way. I'll show you easier ways to play those parts. In fact, the whole last verse, if the last verse is considerably harder than the first two verses because it bumps up a key, you know, it bumps up one fret, and that means you have to bar everything. But so if you don't want to do, if you're a beginner or you just don't want to work that hard, then don't go up a key. It's prettier if you do. But like I said, if you're a beginner or you just don't want to work that hard, then don't. Play the same chords as the first verse, and it'll be considerably easier. Considerably. Now, for the intro, the intro is actually not nearly as hard as the outro. The outro with the raised key is a lot harder. The intro is not so hard. You got an A minor, right? If it's too hard for you, just do this. You got an A minor, and you drop another finger on the first string, first from the floor, right? That makes it an A minor add 9. But then just do that. Sounds sort of mysterious. That's a nice intro too. But what I did, I called it like a 2 plucks and a strum. I plucked the 4th string, counting from the floor, right? The 4th and the 2nd. And then I strummed the bottom 4 strings, and I slid my finger up, just one. So, and then again, right? Use whatever finger you find easiest. My pinky is a lot weaker than my ring finger, so I find it easier to press enough to get a good glide there if I use my ring finger. But I do have longer fingers than most, so if you have short fingers, you might have a hard time with this. Sorry. Then you do that right. So that was your intro. All right. Now what did I do? I changed a lot during the song, right? First verse, I wrote out the arpeggio that I did. It's like a strum arpeggio. I used my index finger. Starts just on an A minor, right? So I'm just going to leave it on the A minor for right now. So I'm doing 1st, 4th, 3rd, and then I pluck the 1st and 2nd strings from the ground together. it's 4/4 time, but it's basically going 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. So 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2, like that, right? If you're a beginner, you can just do this. Actually, it'd be better if you do it more smoothly. How about that? That sounds lovely, doesn't it? Down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Just make sure you do it real smoothly, right? Not a... Right, okay. So I did that the entire first verse. That's what I did. And the strum, with my index finger, the strum was every time I changed a chord. Where the north wind meets the sea. Now you notice in the last line has more chord changes than the first three. And yes, I did more strums. So here's the last two lines. Sleep, sleep, my darling, safe and sound. Oh, actually the last two do. Okay, I'm going to play the whole first verse, and I'm just going to note the timing. Strum every time the chord changes. So where the north wind meets the sea, there's a river full of memory. Now it's going to come a little faster. Sleep, my darling, safe and sound, for in this river all is... And here's where I called it a ripple. I didn't know what else to call it. I wanted to make it sound... From this point through the second verse, it sounds kind of like you got water fluttering all around, right? And that's the image I was trying to give, because I could hear that in the song. I did an arpeggio where I started with both the first and fourth chords. And yes, by the way, for this song, I usually play a low G. Usually doesn't make a difference. I think on this song it does. If you have a low G tuned ukulele like this instead of like this, I think it'll sound better. At least doing the arpeggios that I'm doing, I think it'll sound better because it has this well, it has a lower range. And somehow it sounds fuller, more gentle, something like that. I don't know. But so the ripple, the way I did it, I clicked both the first and fourth together. Sorry, on the A minor. And I went... So pluck them together, but then it's... All right, so you can hear what I'm doing? I'm right on the A minor. That's all I did. But then the verse 2, I did kind of a combination of my strum arpeggio, and every once in a while I threw in a little ooh. And I didn't even do it the same way. Every time I play it a little different. You know, I practiced it a couple times before I did the video. I kept changing it. But I can hear some of the rippling in the song, in the second verse. Some of this happens. And so I did like this. In her waters, deep and true, lie the answers and a path for you. Right? I just threw in a little extra finesse because it sounded cool. All right, last strum. In the bridge, starting in the bridge and through the rest of the verse, or through the third verse, and then I'll go to the outro, and then I'll show the chord transitions. But so throughout the bridge, most of what I did was, right, a down, pluck, and then I plucked the first, second, and third together. Like that. Yes, she will sing to those who hear, and in her song all magic flows. Right? But then at the end, at the very end, I started ramping up for more drama. So second line is the same, or sorry, the third line is the same. But can you brave what you most fear? Can you face what the river, here goes, knows? More strums. Where the north wind, and then I kept that strum, down in triple pluck, whatever, through the rest of the song. Okay, final bit, the outro. No, actually, the outro is formed the same way. I'll just go over the chords. Okay, so chords. As I showed you before, on the intro, I mean, normally I would probably do that A minor add 9 with my 2 strongest fingers, right? But I'm going to have to slide up here. I'm going to have to slide all the way up to there. So I found that if I started, I think I did it, index finger and ring finger. If I did that, then I didn't have to move my finger to be able to stretch all the way up there. And I liked using my ring finger because it's stronger than my pinky. For the outro, I have to use my pinky, and it's harder. All right. Where the north wind, if you use your middle finger there, meets the sea, then you can leave your middle finger where it is and drop down the D, right? And also then you leave your middle finger still where it is. There's a river to go to the F, full of memory. Now you have to drop an extra chord, or an extra finger. But if you use your pinky for the C, sleep, my darling, then you can leave that there until the last moment because you're dropping your other 3 fingers for the D minor. Safe and sound, pick up 1 finger for the F. And the second position F, I thought it sounded pretty when I just went for in this river. That's all that is. When you see a small superscripted number in my song sheets, you can always ignore it if you want to. You can always just play a regular F. But what it means is you're playing up the neck, right? First position F, 2, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. You can go all the way up. They're all Fs. It's all still an F, right? But safe and sound for in this river, right? I thought it sounded pretty. All right, for in this river. Now for that one, that's the first place where you have to pick up everything and actually move all your fingers around to a G. But hopefully G is one of the first chords you learned, so your fingers, easily drop down into that position. And then all is found. Pick it up and just put down 1 finger and do the ripple. Okay. So then we go, second verse is exactly the same. The bridge, yes, she will sing to those who hear. So F, then drop a C. I'm using my pinky for that because it's hovering right over that position anyway. And in her song, and you drop your fingers down almost exactly like the F. All magic flows. Now from that chord transition, your index finger is going to lay flat, but your index finger stays on the same string, same fret. You notice that? It's in exactly the same position, so that's kind of your anchor. You just drop it down and go to your F. And then you roll it back up again. See, your index finger doesn't really change. Flattening out, then you roll it up, back to an F. And now you have to pick them all up for an E minor. Yes, you do. From an F to an E minor. You can do either. This is also an E minor. A lot of people do that. With my low G, I like doing an open E minor because it sounds fuller. Can you face? You can do a regular. Remember I said about my my superscripted numbers, right? I use a second position D because I wanted it to go up. I wanted to hear that higher note. Can you face? So I bar it and then I drop my pinky. That's how I do that second position D. What the river knows. Now you have to slide your bar up just 1 fret and drop up basically a D minor shape underneath that. And you could do an F minor down here if you wanted, but I think it sounds pretty here. And if in fact you're already doing the second position D, it's not that hard. You slide it up, drop it, and there it is. Where the north wind, and by the way, if you can't bar like that, you're not going to be able to bump the key up for this third verse. At least not today. Maybe next week you can. But yeah, if you're having trouble barring, you're going to have trouble with this verse that way. So you could just play the same chords. But if you're playing those chords, so I was on the F minor, then where the north wind, I'm basically, you notice my barred finger and my ring finger are going to stay in the same position. Just slide down to the first fret. Where the north wind meets the sea. And now, again, because I have the low G, I want that low sound. So I do an open E flat. E flat could be like this, but that's also an E flat. So I like that because you get the lower note. So where the north wind meets the sea, there's a mother. I'm barring again and dropping basically an F shape for the F sharp. full of memory. See, that's the same position as that second position D that we showed before, right? But it's the C sharp now. Come, my darling. You notice, other than this, if you don't want to do the open E flat, you can leave the bar here for this entire, for all except for the last chord of the verse, right? North wind meets the sea, mother full of memory. You notice my index finger is staying right there. So it might be easier for this, for you to bar that E flat, but your choice. I like the sound, so I went down with it. There's a mother full of memory. Come, my darling. Again, a D minor shape there, but you're barring the first fret. Homeward bound. Now all I'm going to do is pick up my pinky, and then I can drop it down again over here. When all is lost, and all you're doing, you pick up your pinky again and slide up. And that's it for the song, except for the outro, hardest part of all. And all is found. Here's how I do it. I had a hard time with this. Barring the whole first fret, I couldn't get it right. When I say I couldn't get it right, I couldn't get it to resound. I couldn't get the fullness of the sound because I couldn't press all of the notes hard enough to have it ring out. When I only covered these, I found I could press harder. So I'm covering the first, second, and third string here, counting from the floor. I'm using my middle finger on that. Normally you'd think of it as an A minor, right? And then I'm putting my ring finger here, again, strong one, and also the one that's sitting there. So it's the same pattern, 2 plucks and a strum, right? So I'm going to do, whoops, no, that's right. There's something wrong with that. Oh, because I'm on the wrong position, sorry. That's the position when you're not barring the first. I have to do it up here, right? So, and I didn't quite hear that ring either. And then, in order to stretch, while pressing this first fret, I have to switch to my pinky, otherwise I'm not stretchy enough. That's it. One more time. Switch to the pinky. And if you have a hard time with that and you just want to do, that works too. All right, that's it. Now I'm going to do a slow motion play along. And you know what? Each part of the song is different other than the second verse. So I think I'm going to do slow motion play along of the entire song. It's not that long a song. Close up on my left hand so that you can follow along with how I'm doing every single chord transition. And hopefully I won't screw up, which I sometimes do when I'm in slow motion. Here goes. Okay. 5, 6, 7, and... Where the north wind meets the sea, there's a river full of memory. Sleep, my darling, safe and sound, for in this river all is found. In her waters, deep and true, lie the answers and a path for you. Dive down deep into her sound, but not too far or you'll be drowned. Yes, she will sing to those who'll hear, and in her song all magic flows. But can you brave what you most fear? Can wind meets the sea. There's a mother full of memory. Come, my darling, homeward bound. When all is lost, then all is found. That's it. See you Wednesday.